All right then. So Ignacio's back after 1 year. Last time he did a little success story for us. He was still sat in his office in the bank he worked in London. After we'd helped him for a few months, and now 1 year on, things have changed even more. So mate, if you want to take the floor for a couple of minutes, let everybody know who you are. Just remind everybody who you are and what you're up to.
Absolutely. So, as you say, Riz, massive changes in my life. 1 year ago, exactly we were speaking. I was giving you sort of a feedback on what I thought about the program, and I was still working a 9 to 5, which I did for about maybe 10 years. And I was starting to get my feet wet into sort of freelancing on the side in videography. And well, I mean, you can see the video. I would have never thought I would have been in a completely different country, earning way more than I was earning in corporate. I worked for banking, so I was earning proper money. I was earning good, and having the freedom to do what I love. So yeah, massive changes. I've moved from London to Spain because videography allowed me to actually, leave my 9 to 5 and be able to afford a life wherever I want in the world. And yeah, so that's basically where I am at the moment.
Love that, mate. Absolutely thrilled to hear that we've been able to help you do that. So happy days, mate. That's what it's all about. So what I want to understand, like, is because what we do in For Creatives a lot is like one of the main things we do is a big identity shift from just someone who makes videos and enjoys making videos to actually being someone of use, someone who's an actual asset. So how would you view yourself now in comparison to how you viewed yourself prior to jumping in?
Same thing. So completely 180-degree turn. So completely different that what I thought of myself when I started. I think it's pretty normal and natural for videographers to sort of see themselves as freelancers, indispensable in clients' work. When you think about work when you're starting out, you just want to get any gig. You just want to do what you want to get paid, whatever it is, because you don't think yourself as someone professional. You don't see yourself as someone that adds value to a business. You just see yourself as a creative person that can pull together some nice videos and give them to their clients. So going through the modules in for creatives and going through the team calls and speaking with you, Riz, um, I really grew into this position of, even though it was very quick, dude, like when we met, I was starting out videography sort of professional, like sort of trying to earn money out of it and trying to charge for it. I met you maybe 2 months in, or maybe 1 month into that mind shift where I wanted to do videography on the side, and pretty quickly, I think that was very good for me. That I understood very quickly that what I do is not just freelancing. I'm not just doing nice videos for clients. I'm actually helping clients grow. I'm adding value to their business just as any other third party can do to his business. So I must see and perceive myself as a business owner, as a business that adds value to that business. So in turn, or in exchange, I can charge the value that I'm adding to that business. So it's not just pulling together videos for company X and then just delivering it and bye bye, when's the next client or when the next gig coming. I see them as projects. I think that's also a big mind shift. Instead of seeing them as gigs or small pieces of work, I see them as projects, and that's the way I portray them to my clients. So I work in projects. These projects include strategy. These projects include a business analysis. These projects include conversations with CEOs or marketing teams within the business. So it's not just one guy with a camera that is wearing shorts, goes somewhere, shoots some videos, very artistic, then goes back home, works at home, then delivers. That's not, no. It's like I am professional. I am a business, and I am helping your business grow. I am adding a lot of value to your business through my videography. So that mind shift from I'm just a freelancer that wants to earn 100, 200 pounds for a video. I changed it, to what I learned in the modules and in for creatives, which is I am adding a lot of value to your marketing. I am making you earn more money. I'm making you sell more through my videos. And not just that, not just through my videos, because I'm also helping you with the strategy. I'm helping you with analyzing how your business works, how your audience works, what your audience wants to see, how your marketing team works, and how I can work alongside your marketing team to improve the ROI on your business. So I think that mindset was key in helping me sort of changed my life in less than a year because we're a year down the line, but my life changed 8 months ago. I think I moved into Spain about 8 months ago, working full time as a videographer. And it's not wrong to start as a freelancer. Obviously, you need to learn the skills of videography. You need to learn, how to shoot properly, how to edit. You need to sort of find your passion, what you like working with. You like corporate, do you like real estate, do you like music videos, whatever it is, you like telling stories through documentaries. You need to sort of work as a freelancer first to understand the industry, to understand obviously, the technical parts of videography, to understand how businesses work. So I don't, it's not like feeling like a freelancer is wrong. It is wrong if you do it for too long, obviously. But I think it's a good place to start. So I don't want other people to feel bad if they're starting out and they're like, okay, I just want to do some gigs. That's perfect. You need to do it. You need to work cheap. You need to work for free. You need to do all that sort of stuff to learn how the industry works. Especially if you never worked in corporate, you need to learn how corporates work, how businesses work, how CEOs like to speak, how they communicate. You need to learn all that. So you need to to get your feet wet, but it is very important to not stay stuck in that mindset, which is what a lot of videographers do. I've seen it a lot in Spain. Like in Spain, that business mentality of videography that you guys teach for creatives, it hasn't arrived, I think, to the rest of Europe yet. I think maybe in the US, in Canada, maybe it's shifting a little bit, and in the UK, but I think in the rest of Europe, there's videographers. They still see themselves as freelancers, who they'll get a job if they're good at it, and they'll just do whatever the client wants instead of what we learn in for creative, which is you need to work with the business as if you're part of the business and not see yourself as I don't know how to say, like, below. Don't see yourself inferior to the business. You're just another business parallel to them, giving your services and adding your services, adding your value to that business. A lot of people tend to see, especially freelancers themselves, as inferior to the business. I'm just a freelancer working for this business, whatever. Here, now I don't see myself as that. I see myself as a business. And aside from making me a lot more professional in my work, it allows me to impose myself, to value myself. So, whenever a potential client comes to me and they start sort of treating me as, inferior, or as I don't know how to say it, like just a person they hired for something. And they want to lowball me with payment. They want to treat me like like I'm nothing because whatever, I'm just a videographer to them. I now can impose myself, and I can just laugh at that and just kick that business out of my way, and know that I'm worth a lot more. I'm not gonna be stepped on by no one. I know that my work has a lot of value for businesses. So if one business cannot see that, it doesn't bother me at all. I'll just close the door and look somewhere else. And I think that's something that videographers tend to do. They tend to be a yes man for everything, because videographers, sorry, I meant to be freelancers. Freelancers, obviously they don't have that structure. They don't have that business structure of what we learn in for creatives. So they're always like scared, like if I don't get a gig, I won't have, I won't be able to pay my rent or whatever it is. I won't be able to afford this or that. But with the structure that we learn in for creatives, whereas you're a business, so you need, even if you're a one-man band, you still need to treat yourself as a business. You need to have structure, you need to have processes, you need to have records of all the processes, and records of everything that's going on, tax, clients onboarding. You need to sort of work as a business, and that allows me to feel as a business. And when I come in front of clients that don't respect me like that, it's very easy for me to just walk past them and look for something else. Whereas when you're starting out, or maybe when you still see yourself as a freelancer, you let businesses step on top of you, because you know that if you don't close that deal, you probably won't get another client or stuff, because you don't have that structure of showing your value to businesses. Because now I don't see my work as a one time thing. I know that if I close a client for one video, I know that I'm going to have a relationship with them for the next 5 years. And that's the way I position myself in front of them. It's not like, okay, let's do this video and part ways. It's like, I'm
Mm.
going to help you grow. I'm going to help your business grow, not just with delivering video, but with the strategy behind the videos, with the intention behind the videos. I'll show you how my videos will increase your ROI. and I'll work
100%.
alongside your business. Um, so yeah, I think for creatives has been key for me in that perspective. And as I said, thankfully, I joined pretty young in my career when I wanted to start freelancing and stuff because I wasn't able to waste much time being a no disrespect to freelancers, but when I say freelancer, I mean like someone that doesn't see themselves as someone that can help grow a company and that should establish a very long-lasting relationship with any client they work. So
Yeah.
that's what I mean by sort of freelancing. So it was very good for me to join and learn all those things, which no one speaks about online. I do follow a lot of videographers. I do follow a lot of production companies and stuff because I inspire myself from what they do, the gear they use, how they use the gear, technical stuff, creativeness. But really, really almost no one speaks about that part of the industry. And I think it's the only thing that will make or break you. It'll make you either a successful business or it'll keep you as a freelance videographer for the rest of your life. And I've seen it.
Mm.
I've worked in projects where I meet people that are, I don't know, maybe 60, 55 years old. And it's quite saddening to see how they're 55-year-old and they still see themselves as a freelance videographer and they just work on a they live on a day-to-day basis instead of, having that mentality and that structure that
Yeah, and
will
that could be anyone if they don't make those changes as well. You could end up,
absolutely,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
It's good that you had that guidance quite early on because you didn't have to make all the wrong mistakes. You just told what to do from the start really, and look at you now. And I think what we really try and do, or what we do not try and do, what we do with everybody who meets us halfway in the program is we help them take up that space that the mid-tier video agencies occupy currently, because that model is sort of dying really now. Because like I've done a few of these success stories lately, and we're all always having the same conversations. Like clients would rather have one person they trust, one point of contact who can just do everything and be across everything. Okay, hire in a few team members if needs be for production, for post, whatever. But somebody who understands strategy, somebody who's creative in the bigger picture and trying to, who understands creativity and how to evoke emotions in humans to make them make buying decisions with creative video. They'd much rather us to speak to one person than have this big bloated agency that takes ages to reply, who doesn't really have their finger on the pulse with a lot of different things. Like that is what we hear all the time, and that's what we're helping people do is just take over that space, and that's why it's set for creatives is such a success. So, mate, amazing to hear that. You're doing exactly that. So, what about some recent deals? Can you in as much detail as you're comfortable sharing? Can you let us know about any recent deals you've got over the line?
Yeah, so I recently I closed a 6-month retainer contract with a client, which one of the main challenges he had, or I think he didn't know he had, but when we met for the first time, he realized was that he had to deal with a whole bunch of different people to get one video done. So he used to work with the videographers, but the videographer didn't edit the video, so he had to speak with someone else, and they had completely different how do you say levels of
Styles. All right.
styles and levels of
Abilities, yeah.
quality abilities. So there was like a real mismatch between the photography of the video and the actual edit of the video. And I mentioned it to them on our first meeting. I was like, I see you guys are doing a lot of effort. I can tell that you guys are doing a good job, but something's going wrong there. And that's when they open up to me and they say, that's actually one of our biggest challenge that we cannot work with one person. So we need to be just bouncing around with a lot of people. And we don't like that. So we want to focus on one person. So I closed this client recently. Do you want me to mention numbers and stuff or?
Yeah, why not, mate? If you're comfortable sharing it.
Yeah, right. So this is a 7 delivery package for 4,000 euros plus tax per month for a 6-month timeline. And I've been with them. We started actually mid last month. So what was last month? July? August.
Oh,
Mid August we started, and we have for 6 months. But they've already, like hinted to me that they obviously are going to extend because they're talking to me about next year and then what we're going to do after next winter and stuff. So um, I'm very happy with that one, with that one because it's in real estate and it's something I really wanted to get into since I started, to have
yeah,
a retainer with real estate. They're one
yeah.
of the biggest.
Yeah, mate. Your real estate stuff is looking so good as well. So, how much is that in total?
So that's 4 grand per month for 6 months. So this contract alone is 24 grand for half a year work. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, and it's mostly on the strategy, what I'm charging on those amounts, because it's only 7 deliverables per month, and it's most of them, it's a mixture between real estate and branding videos for them. So that's what actually, got them over the line, that I was not just gonna shoot properties for them. I sold them on, increasing the brand online, helping them grow, helping them share the right message. Um, through videos. So it's a mixture of 7 deliverables cut between real estate property videos, like solely real estate, and then brand growth through video as well.
Yeah, that's what I try and nail into you guys all the time is it's outcomes that you're selling. It's not deliverables. Like you could sell them a 1 minute video or a 10-second video every month. But if that means the outcome is a certain amount of return on the investment, then it doesn't really matter how you do it. It's the outcome. So if you can get it done in 7 deliverables, you can get it done in 10, you can get it done in 4, whatever it is. But to really decipher what's going to work is where, that's why the strategy phase is so important. And I tell everybody, say it all the time, that gap between the verbal yes and getting the deal over the line and then creating a short list, where the strategy lives, like the planning, that's where the real creative work is. That is where you're really thinking as a creative beyond what shot's going to work best here. That's creative as well, but that's where the planning is, where the why comes into it, and
And
joining the dots between the why and the actually making it happen.
and
So yeah, mate,
and,
you
and
go ahead.
being able to do that physically. So one of the things I learned for creative, when I mentioned about structure and being organized and being more professional, is one thing you see very rarely any sort of freelance videographer do, is having like a Notion where they have shooting dates, they have scripts, they have agreed videos, they have ideas. So I built that Notion for them, and they were like, what? Like they couldn't believe that a videographer was doing that for them, where everything is organized. They can go in, they can comment. I got all the scripts there, all the ideas for the next 3 to 4 months are in there. What we're gonna shoot, when we're gonna shoot, who we're gonna need, what's the objective behind each specific video or script. So
Amazing.
that really, blew their mind away. So they feel like they're dealing with a professional business instead of just, any.
Yeah.
uh,
And that's your positioning. And that's another word I use a lot. Like you're helping your clients with their positioning. So because I've said this in some of my reels, the data says that like a brand's perceived size is its biggest indicator of profit. It's what's going to generate the most profit. That's what research says. So if an audience feels like the brand is a big brand, then they're more likely to actually part with their money. So if you're helping your clients with their perceived brand size, but also your perceived brand size will improve due to your better positioning through strategies like this, like building out a brand playbook, building out exactly what you just described. So and that's what the data says you need to do. So always following what research tells us to do is, and you've been a really good example of that, mate. Awesome. I'm absolutely thrilled to hear where you're at, mate. It's quality because when we first, I think our first call, maybe I've got a recording of it somewhere. Our first call from well over a year ago that I could chuck into this edit somewhere of your frustrations at the time that you tell me about. But maybe that'll be nice to edit in. But yeah, so yeah, I'm just thrilled that those frustrations initially are just a distant memory, and you're just really happy. Just before we press record on this call, you were just telling me how good life is like. So it's put a big smile on my face, mate. So I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If I mean, for anyone that's starting out or is sort of messing with videography, and they see it as, something that can't take off or can't replace your 9 to 5 in a big corporate. I was there for about 10 years, and I was just one of the most miserable persons for those 10 years. I used to fake myself into, that's life. That's what I got out of life, and that's what I have to do for the rest of my life. And then out of nowhere, I met you, Riz. A friend actually told me to check your Instagram, and that changed my life forever. Like I would have thought 1 year back that I was gonna be living my best life, earning good money, better than in corporate, owning my own business, working with what I want, being able to say no to what I do not want. And yeah, I mean, I think that summarizes up pretty good.
Yeah, it really does, mate. It's honestly this is what it's all about. Like this is the main driving force behind me starting for creatives is like the creative landscape is historically a difficult one to navigate. So to be able to help other people navigate it, like yourself, that's it, mate. That's all it's about. But
One
yeah,
big thing on the community is that another thing that really had a lot of influence in making my decision and changing my life was the motivation and the inspiration that you get with the other people in the community. If I were not to join the community, I really wouldn't have seen what is possible in this industry. You know, how professional can you be? How much can you charge? How much value can you add to an actual business? How you can position yourself as a growth partner. If I wouldn't have learned that within, chatting in the community, joining the calls, the weekly calls in the community, learning and hearing what other people are doing, what other people are achieving, I would have never thought that videography would allow me to live the life I'm living now. So aside from all the, the learning and the, how you say, like
coaching and
the coaching and yeah, aside from all that is actually, that big part of the community where you see what other people are doing, how they're doing it, how they position themselves in front of clients, and you learn from a lot of that, and that really motivates you and shows you that it is possible. People are making big money, people are, working on big projects, and these are not people that either went to film school. These people, they don't work for big agencies. They're all either one-man band or two-man band with their own little production company, and they're achieving huge things that that you would have thought that massive production companies will handle. And that, I think, that really motivated me, and that showed me that there's a lot of possibilities in this industry if you do it right, obviously.
yeah, amazing, mate. I'd love to hear it. And that is, we hear that a lot. Like the community is just invaluable for everybody because like that's the future. Like there's a lot of these online courses and stuff these days, and people are offering different things, and a few copycats out there inevitably. Like, but ultimately, like the community is one of the biggest parts of it because we do attract the better creatives. Um, just because of the nature of our brand, because we really push the creative side of things with branded content. So it's built this community of very creative people who are very switched on, very driven, very motivated, and got their finger on the pulse. Much like yourself. And the community is invaluable. We hear it back from everybody all the time. Uh, all right, mate. Well, been an amazing little success story to hear about what you've been up to. Like I always say, oh, let's jump on a success story call and I'll ask you these questions and it'd be good to hear what you're going to say. But outside of like the question and answer, it's just fucking class to hear what your life is like now. Do you know what I mean? So I'm really happy about that. I'm really thrilled to hear that. And then lastly, what would you say to anyone who's thinking of jumping in, who's on the fence?
Honestly, don't think about it. Like there's so much going on inside that you will never get anywhere else. I do a lot of YouTube to learn a lot of stuff. I do a lot of Instagram, and I haven't found still nothing like this. And all you got templates for everything, you got help for everything. It's like, don't make it more painful and longer than it naturally is. Like, jump in the course, and it will all be like as quickly as that to learn everything, to get the help, to get the templates to build whatever you need to build. So don't think about it. Just, I would say, just join, and you'll never regret it.
Love it, mate. Ignacio, great to catch up with you, mate. Really appreciate your time. And yeah, once again, thrilled to hear how everything's going, mate. So thank you very much.
Good speaking again, Riz.
Thank you, bro.
Have a
Top
good one,
man.
brother.
You
Cheers.
too, mate.